Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 44 of the Anime Banter podcast with your hosts, Turtle, Sean, and Mike. Thank you for joining us today. How you guys doing?
Nasally.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I'm on the tail end of being sick myself.
I woke up this morning with my one nostril congested, and it's just been blowing and taking cold medicine. So, apologies for the nasal sounds coming from me today.
I just got over my nastiness, and I guess I gave it to you somehow.
You teleported it through the interwebs.
Interweb connectivity can do that, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely, 100%.
I'm good for like one good chest cold a year. I survived for most of the winter, so it's hard to complain. Now that we're here in February, but it's like, I was starting to think maybe I got lucky and avoided any illness this year.
I'll say it's early in the year. Do it now and get it over with, right?
Yeah, I guess. It just sucks being sick.
It does.
I'm really hoping to kick this illness so I can go to my Super Bowl party in a couple days.
Hey, Super Bowl party. I don't watch football anymore.
Two team. I'm pretty much hoping both teams lose somehow.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I
Like
don't particularly want any of them to win.
after the Steelers loss, it's like, all right. Like I was really hoping for a Bills Lions Super Bowl.
Oh,
So I
that'd been
thought
so
that'd
good.
be super fun. And we would see a first time winner. But no, we're getting the Chiefs and the 49ers. And like, I don't mind Patrick Mahomes, but it's starting to get to the level of like the Patriots where they're always in it when they had Brady. I'm just tired of seeing Mahomes always in it. And he started becoming like a whiny little baby at times this year that's just like, dude. And like that quarterback show on Netflix didn't paint him in the best light either. Like with his attitude. Oh yeah, me too. He doesn't have the cheating scandals at least. But it's just like, can we have but being from Pittsburgh, it's like I don't want Baltimore to win either
Oh
and
no.
being in the Super Bowl. So in the AFC we were sort of screwed. But I'm tired of seeing Mahomes and being a Steeler fan, like I don't want to see the Niners win and tie the Steelers in ring count.
That's the problem, is that you have to root for the Chiefs if you're a Steelers fan specifically. Which here at the Anime Banter podcast, boo us if you will. Most of you probably don't even like football.
I know I don't. Not anymore. I used to be, a hardcore Steeler fan. I was all about it, but the players in the NFL just aren't what they used to be. They're all in it for the money, and I just don't care anymore.
I was gonna say we used to watch all the games at your place, Turtle.
We did. We had some great Steeler parties.
Now I'm just hoping for some good commercials and some good food and
Fair
some good
enough.
beer.
hmm
And if hopefully the game is decent to watch. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, honestly.
It won't be. Both teams are pretty strong on both sides of the
I could
ball,
even see it
so
being low scoring because both teams have really good defenses.
they do. I don't know. I'm hoping at the very least it's entertaining.
If I were to give my prediction, I'm going to say 49ers win and the MVP is Christian McCaffrey.
My prediction: Chiefs win. Patrick Mahomes is MVP.
And Turtle's just like, I don't care.
I don't have a prediction. I don't know who any of these people are because I've been out of it for years. Good luck to both sides, I guess. You made it this far. Someone's got to win, someone's got to lose.
Turtle's like, I just hope both teams have fun.
Yeah. I hope they play the game and enjoy the game and have a good time. Well, you guys ready to get into some Frieren talk?
Yeah, it's going to be much better than Super Bowl.
It
Absolutely.
really will be.
Well, today we are talking about episodes 9 and 10 of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Episode 9, Aura the Guillotine. Or is it guillotine?
Guillotine.
Gia. Gia.
Guillotine? It's French, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I do not speak French. In my horrible French accent. All right, let's get into it. The episode opens with Graf getting bandaged up in a bed in the town church. Stark has been bandaged as well, and Graf thanks Stark and Fern for their help and pardons them, as well as that other mage. Fern tells Graf that Frieren did not kill the guard, And Groff says that he knows, and he knows that the demons did it. And it finally clicks that the other mage is actually Frieren of the Heroes Party. He tells Stark and Fern that his family owes Frieren a great debt.
One cool thing that I looked up was the English voice actor for Groff is John Bergmeyer, who does Tien and Kurama.
Yay! That dude's awesome. So Frieren meets with Aura and her army of headless knights. Frieren notes that Aura is able to control more puppets than before, but the dark magic makes her want to vomit, which made me laugh. Aura also laughs and said it took quite a lot of work to gather so many of them. Frieren decides she should destroy Aura once and for all.
I love how on the nose Ara's name is. Ara the Guillotine, and all of her soldiers are headless.
It's just too good.
See, that kind of cracks me up because I did not make that connection.
Back at the church, Groff explains that Aura has the Scales of Obedience. This allows Aura to control a person's will and forces them to obey her commands. She places her soul and the soul of her target on the scales, and whoever has the most mana takes control of the other. This is like a really crazy idea for a power or ability.
I love this power. It feels very unique, but I am a little surprised that she's called Ara the Guillotine and not something that deals with justice or scales. Because, like, she's holding up the scales of justice. So I thought it might have her name more would do something with that.
I was gonna say that a lot of times, whenever we have characters in anime with scales, it's all about like everything must be in balance, or like you said, or the scales of justice. But here, they're like, no, we're actually going to weigh two things, and we want one of them to be heavier than the other. And I'm like, huh, this is not how this works, honestly.
We cut back to the battlefield as Frieren keeps dodging the attacks of the headless armors. Frieren uses her magic to dispel, I think it was 4 of the armors, and free their souls. Aura is shocked that Frieren is able to do that, but also curious why she would spend such a large amount of mana to do so. Frieren says that Himmel would have done it. Aura asks why that would matter since he is rotting in the ground. Frieren thanks Aura for saying that. Now she can kill Aura with no hesitation. Holy shit.
I don't want to queue up Anime Ranter here because it's more of a minor gripe, but I these types of character inconsistencies really bug me in this show. We had it with Groff where like one scene he's like, "Uh, you talked me out of killing you," and then it's like the next scene, "Oh, I see right through your deception, Lugner." And then like here with Frieren, in the last episode, she killed Drott without any hesitation. She's just like, "Oh yeah, screw him. Like he's a demon, he's evil, kill him." And here she's like hesitating to kill Ara until she like spoke ill of Himmel.
Yeah, there kind of is a thing here where a lot of characters in like anime they'll do this, right? Where like you fight the lackey and they just stomp on him, right? And then it's like, oh, time to fight the big boss. And I'm like, she could have killed this guy as easily as she killed that lackey, probably. You know, like she could kill Ara probably as easily as she kills that lackey. Instead, she's like taking it, taking her time, plopping armors. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? Why wasting your time blowing up these armors? Just like do whatever you want. Just blow her up. Maybe it's not that simple. Maybe I'm giving Ara not as much credit as she should have.
I'll be honest, I didn't have the same thought process that you guys had. To me, this just had like an 80s action movie vibe, and that was just one of the cheesy one liners, and I was all in. I was loving
Fair.
I
it.
mean, I won't turn down 80s cheesy one-liners from action movies.
She just like, she's staring Aura down, like, now I'm not going to hesitate to crush your soul. And I was just like, yeah, get her, Frieren.
I must break you.
If she dies, she dies. So back at the church, Stark suits up and heads outside. And Fern asks if he's going alone. And Stark says that yes. And Fern says that she wants to go with him. Stark tells her no, and that she should help to evacuate the people from the town. Fern kind of stares at him with a little bit of admiration for a minute, and then Stark turns around with this glimmer in his eye and a thumbs up and says he's going to get Frieren for help. You could have had a moment there, Stark. Way to go.
I loved this scene because it's like Stark is like talking, he's all confident, and like we get a close up of his hand and it's not shaking like it has in the past. It's like, oh, he's starting to believe in himself. He's not afraid. Like, he's ready to go. And he's like, I need to go get Frieren, help.
It's so good.
One day, Stark. One day.
After the two go outside, Fern comments on the amount of blood on Stark's bandaged arms. She says he looks like a murderer and that the guards are going to question him. Stark notices some blood on Fern's coat, and then we see the realization on Fern's face. She takes her coat off and throws it over the castle wall. She then sees more blood on Stark's coat, and that there is mana in the blood. Right on cue, the blood attacks Fern and pins her to the wall. Then the demon girl named Line, I think how they pronounced it.
I believe
I don't
so.
remember. But she appears and she knocks Stark over the castle wall and follows suit. Stark notices Line is using an axe and Eisen's technique. Here we go.
Couple things. How did they not notice all the blood on them? Like when they were hanging out with Groff and getting everyone bandaged up?
Well, I mean, Stark's coat's red, so maybe that blended in a little bit. Fern's coat's kind of black, so it's kind of harder to see. I don't know.
But like on the bandages?
I don't know. I can give him a pass on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving them a pass, but it's like I get it. Like you just freshly bandaged your arm, so there's gonna be blood on there. But it's like maybe like try and calm down the bleeding before throwing bandages on. I don't know, but anyways, I'm super hyped for this fight. I always love a good fight where it's the master's technique versus the apprentice, just to try and show how much the apprentice has grown and advanced beyond the teaching of the master.
Yeah, at the same time though, there are problems I sometimes have with it because I'm like, okay, just because you can kind of copy their fighting style doesn't mean you have like the years of muscle memory built up into swinging an axe. You know what I mean? Like, I get they do it for the effect of the show, but in actuality, I feel like it wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too picky here.
Lugner tells Fern that he was aiming for her vitals, but she is faster than he thought. Since she survived, he has a few questions for her. How strong is that boy? Fern tells Lugner that Stark is Eisen's best pupil. Lugner says that he will die a painful death since Line likes to take her time. Where is Frieren hiding? She fled town after escaping jail. Lugner realizes Frieren would not just run away and must have went to face Aura. Fern is then able to recover her staff while Lugner is thinking and off in La La Land, which is really not a good idea to do in like in the middle of a fight. And Fern is able to free herself from the blood. Fern has a memory, like a flashback of Frieren making Fern fight all the time against all these monsters. And Frieren says it's because Fern can cast her attack magic faster than Frieren can. Lugner then spins around to face Fern and attack like a quick draw contest. But Fern gets the upper hand and shoots. Lugner is able to reflexively block the attack. Fern aimed for Lugner's heart, and since he blocked it, she knows that that is his weak point. Lugner says he is not going to hold back.
I loved the flashback of Frieren and Fern, and just it went to show how proud Frieren is of Fern. And then I love how Fern's like, "Oh, his heart is his weak point." It's like, uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure most living things have a weak point of the heart.
Yeah, I mean, if only she blasted that last episode. I'm just saying, like he caught him off guard. He could have just blown through his heart right then and there. But hey, you wanted to wait till this episode. I get it.
Aim for the arm, quick, it's his weakness.
Oh man, I really thought that I was gonna take him out, hit him in the arm.
Or as Thanos says, should have aimed for the head.
Line is disappointed that Lugner is having fun since Stark is already down for the count. We then get this incredible fight sequence between Lugner and Fern. My god, Does this scene look incredible? It's just so well animated. Again, like if you're not watching this, you really, really need to be. The animation is so good. It's Madhouse Studio, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what we came up with, and they have a pretty good reputation as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yes, absolutely beautiful. So they're fighting, and Lugner wants to wait for Fern to run out of magic, but he realizes that he can't do that.
This fight is amazing. And I just love how emotionless Fern is when she's attacking. Like, it'd be so easy for her to feel overwhelmed by Lugner's power, but, like, she's showing no fear. She's showing no, like, sadness or anger or, like, worry for Stark. Like, she's in the zone and she knows what has to be done.
We then shift to Line fighting Stark, and Line says that she can read the flow of mana in a person, and she can copy their moves and fighting styles. That's a pretty cool power.
It's such a cool power. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, other characters from shows that I've watched that have something similar. I really
I've
can't.
definitely encountered it before.
Yeah, I feel like I've encountered it before, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head.
I'm also drawing a blank right now.
Like, part of me is like, oh, Ginyu, but, like, that's more of a body change, not a fighting style copy. I
You know,
get,
we could go to Naruto with the Sharingan.
yeah. I was gonna say you could maybe say Cell,
Yeah, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that.
but it's not like totally one for one.
Man, I know that there are definitely anime that I know like line up with this. I just cannot think of any.
I mean, if you want to go DBZ, you could even go Majin Buu because like he was copying moves that Vegeta and Goku did on him once, and he imitated it.
That's true.
So you could go that route.
That's true. Granted, not everyone recognizes the Majin Buu arc.
Yeah, some people don't care for it. I happen to like it just fine. I can understand why some people don't like it, but I enjoy it.
I never watched it.
You should.
Yeah, well, I stopped after Cell, and people are like, "Wait, have you really not seen all of Deep Z?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I realized like after the first 5 seasons, there's still somehow like 4 seasons left."
Boo's a little long.
I was gonna say they're
Yeah.
not short seasons either.
I mean, if I had to pick, I would say Cell's my favorite villain, for sure. But I still like the Boo arc. I I'm gonna confess here. Everybody can make fun of me if you like. I love the Gohan going to school arc. Most people hate that, but like when I was watching that on TV for the first time, I was in high school, and I mean, I was kind of I'm still kind of an odd individual if I say so myself. But like I had a really small clique in high school. I wasn't like best friends with everybody. So to see Gohan just like sticking out like a sore thumb and being awkward, it just really connected with me, and it made me laugh. And I really like that arc still to this day.
Yeah, I'm down with it. I've actually seen that one, and well, our listeners may have found out by now. My favorite genre is slice of life. So anything that's just like a regular person going to school, I'm like, yes, bring it on.
Going back to Frieren though, um, in this fight, Line like cuts Stark's eye. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna get eye patch Stark. And then it's like, no, I can still see. It's like, wait, she just took an axe to your eye, and your eyeball is fine.
It was above the eye. It was like in the forehead. He moved out of the way.
Okay, I was gonna say because the way that it looked originally was like, oh, he's about to lose an eye.
That's what I was thinking too. But they show the gash on the forehead, so he either she missed it or he moved out of the way enough where he just got cut in the forehead.
I do really appreciate Line recognizing how great of a warrior Aizen is. And I got a good laugh at the flashback where Aizen was like poking Stark with a stick, like, get up. Come on. You gotta get up. And then when Stark got up, all I could think of was Randy Marsh saying, I didn't hear no bell.
After Stark takes a beating, he does get back up.
I didn't hear no bell.
Exactly. Fern and Lugner are fighting in the background, and it just looks like fireworks are going off. This is just it looks so cool. It's so well animated. Line attacks, and Stark just takes the hit and says that there's no weight behind it. He then cuts her whole left side off, and then Line disintegrates. Holy shit.
I actually didn't care for their fight.
Oh?
I can see that.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll just take the axe to the ribs because I don't really wear armor. Yeah, it couldn't go through my bones and muscle. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not buying it.
He does really get cut up a lot here.
And also, he never attacked. I guess he was waiting for the right moment to attack. But he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna like wait and get completely bloodied up before I do literally anything. And I'm like, eh.
Like, I get the whole fear angle, but like when you take a hit, especially like from an axe and like you're bleeding, I figured that would snap you out of the fear thing and put you in the more of, the fight mode. But he just sort of like just takes all these hits.
Yeah.
It's not really much of a fight. So I can see that.
I don't know. I didn't care for their fight. I've seen this stuff in anime a lot, but it's fine. Like I didn't think it was abysmal.
Lugner looks down to see Line and see her not be there. And when he looks back up to see Fern, he's just in time to see Fern cast Zoltrak right through Lugner's heart. Holy fucking shit.
Way to go, Stark and Fern. Both kill shots were pretty cool.
I agree. I definitely think the better fight was between Fern and Lugner here. I wish Stark had a little bit more like action instead of just like taking hits from an axe and not dying.
I will say it's sort of hard to like. It almost feels like they spread themselves too. Like this was a 4-episode arc, and to try and squeeze in 2 fights into 1 episode just feels difficult.
I think they had a pretty good like back and forth. It's just like the Stark battle, quote unquote, wasn't really much of a battle. Where like, Fern was going nuts with all the spells and Lugner had all the blood going everywhere and like that was like a battle. Stark was just like taking hits until he swung back and then just killed her. So I don't know.
Yeah, Stark just blocking for like 10 minutes of an episode and bleeding like didn't do it for me. It might not for other people, but like no, like we're seeing how smart he is as a fighter, where he's picking his shot. You know what I mean? So he just kind of took damage till he chose his shot. But I'm like, he took an axe directly to the ribs. It was like, your swing is weak. And I'm like, obviously it's not because of how much damage you have sustained. If her swing was weak, you would have swung harder and faster than her as soon as the battle started.
I will say, Stark sort of in this fight reminds me of Homer Simpson when he when he was a boxer in that 1 episode, and people would just like pound on him, and he wouldn't do anything, and literally they would just tire themselves out from punching him in the head so much, and then he would just hit him once, and they'd be out of like energy, and he'd win because of that.
Oh my gosh, I would say I'm always down for a Simpsons reference. So that is a classic episode.
Well, I'm really enjoying the Frieren talk, but I think we need a break.
You a little thirsty?
I'm up feeling a little parched.
Sean, are you thirsty?
I think I'm a little thirsty.
Audience, are you thirsty? Because it's time for Mike's Beer of the Week. This week's beer comes to you from Three Floyds Brewing, and it is their Zombie Ice, an 8.5% double IPA. That's right, baby, we're back on the IPA train. And the Zombie Ice is full of citra hops. Delicious. I love Three Floyds. I don't think I've ever had a bad beer from them. They are slowly making their way into the Pittsburgh market. I feel like the past 3 to 5 years, it's starting to be picked up. Man, probably like 3. It's starting to pick up here. Before that, it was rare to find it anywhere close to Pittsburgh. They're located in Munster, Indiana, so not the biggest of towns, and they were very regional with their distribution. So when I went to Gen Con and I would see it in bars and restaurants, it's like, well, I know what I'm drinking tonight. And like if I was in a grocery store and they had a 6-pack, it's like, well, I'm picking some beer up to take home. If you haven't had anything from Three Floyds, I would definitely recommend checking out the Zombie Dust Pale Ale and one of my personal favorites, the Gumball Head Wheat. Both are fantastic. The Gumball Head is probably one of the best wheats I've ever had. The untapped average rating is a 4.02, and I give it a 4.
Episode 10. A Powerful Mage. We start the episode with a flashback to Flamma and young Frieren. Flamma explains again that demons are just monsters that speak the human tongue to lie. Flamma says that since they deceive, she will deceive doubly so. If that is the secret to eliminating all demons, Flamma will gladly embrace the dishonor it entails. I really want more backstory on Flamma and Frieren.
Me too. Especially a young Frieren. When she's still fresh as Flamma's apprentice.
They give us a good bit in this episode, though. But I feel like we're going to see even more.
Lugner then realizes that Fern did not play fair, quote unquote, and asks if Frieren does the same. Lugner calls Fern and Frieren a disgrace to the title of mage. Fern says that Frieren knows that better than anyone and finishes Lugner off. And we'll go into the playing fair bit a little bit later into the episode as we continue to break things down.
Yeah, I was to say, I'm not going to lie. I was actually really confused the first time he said it. I'm like, what? What's wrong? I don't get it.
Yeah, there were a couple questions I had from this little scene. Before we get into those, Lugner's blood-soaked arm looked so cool when he was looking all around, seeing his body lying around on the floor.
Oh yeah.
But I was also curious about the Playfair thing, and then for watching it the first time, it's whenever he's looking at Fern, and we see that silhouette, that glow around Fern, I'm like, is that her mana? Or what is that? And are we seeing it through Lugner's eyes? As we'll see in the very next scene, we get some answers. But the visual was really cool.
Ask and you shall receive. We get to see Flamma, and she finds an elf village. Sadly, all the elves are dead, save for one. I wonder who that could be. Flamma finds a dead demon general and the sole survivor of the elf village, and it's Frieren. Shock and awe.
I am shocked. Shocked, I tell ya.
Flamma takes Frieren from the village and says that Frieren is now her apprentice. As they leave, they are surrounded by 3 more demons, and Flamma says that these demons are stronger than the general that Frieren killed. The demons ask Flamma to put down the elf girl, and she can go free. Flamma puts down Frieren and explains to her that she knows how demons think, and she can exploit that. Flamma then destroys the 3 demons in the blink of an eye. Flamma's so cool.
It was so cool seeing Frieren's mana through Flamma's eyes. So that answered that question about Lugner. And also, this show loves the Batman-Robin dynamic, don't they? Oh, you're an orphan? Cool, you're my new apprentice.
Yeah, lots of orphans turning into mages, huh?
Mages, warriors.
Oh yeah, is Stark an orphan? I imagine he is.
I'm pretty sure he is. I thought they said he was.
Yeah, so they just love the child soldiers.
So Flamma teaches Frieren to suppress her mana, her mana output, to deceive the demons into thinking that they are weaker than they actually are. This is the unfair play that we mentioned earlier. Flamma tells Frieren to suppress her mana for the rest of her life, and she will be able to fool the demons.
Pretty much Flamma says to Frieren, don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
It's a pretty good tactic.
Makes sense to me. So back to the modern day, Frieren is facing off against Aura. She has this inner monologue about Aura, and she confirms that Aura is about 500 years old, which is apparently pretty long-lived for demons. She has an incredible mana, and that's why Aura wields these scales so casually. They show this visual by showing the magical auras of both Frieren and Aura. I feel like Aura's name was chosen because of this whole story arc.
I loved the visual of each of their manas. They did some really great visual storytelling in this episode.
Yeah, and going back to Ara's name being a little too literal. Yes, it is.
This is really the first time that they talk about, like, the aura of one's mana, and it just so happens our villain's name is Aura.
Also, we reference in this podcast we reference Dragon Ball Z all the time, but this is remember the beginning of the Saiyan saga and DBZ where they talk about like hiding their aura and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, man, it's the hiding their power levels and whatnot, and you're just like, wow, it's like the same thing. Heroes know how to hide it, the villains don't.
And then we get another Flama flashback. She tells Frieren that demon society is based on strength. They have to show their strength to survive and rise through the ranks. Because of this, demons will never hide their mana. Flama says that Frieren is lucky she was not born a demon. Frieren agrees and says that if she was born a demon, she could not deceive them. We then time skip to older Flama, and she tells Frieren that when she dies, she wants Frieren to plant flowers on her grave. Flama's favorite spell is one that grows flowers. Frieren asks if Flama would teach it to her. Flama is convinced that one day Frieren will defeat the Demon King. We then see a field of flowers and a lone gravestone.
This older Flama flashback was so touching. Like, it was one of the few times that we actually see Frieren show some emotion. Like, she's like, please teach me this spell so I know how to honor you, and like, thank you for everything you've done for me. Like, we don't really see that much from Frieren in terms of emotions and like gratitude and being close to someone.
Yeah, even her traveling companions, who defeated the Demon King, she doesn't feel close to them because obviously she kind of neglected her bond with them and like never really got it. But Flama, she gets it, and obviously Flama was kind of like a substitute mother in a way. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty intense. So it was touching, and I hope we get more Flama stuff. She's probably gonna talk to her once we reach heaven, right?
I would very much like that.
I think so.
I was also going to say that it actually harkens back to, I think, episode 2, where she was trying to find the blue flower slash weed, whatever it was called, so she could cast that spell to grow that flower. So it's going back to like episode 2.
Yeah, like we've seen her use that spell, and now we saw how she learned it.
She learned it from her teacher. So it was a great scene. We then see a time passing montage.
Montage!
Montage! As Frieren keeps to herself and continues her training. We also get to see Himmel, Eisen, and Heiter find Frieren for the first time. Heiter says that Frieren has 1/5 of the mana he does. Himmel says that she's the strongest mage he has ever seen. Frieren asks him why he thinks that, and Himmel just says he has a hunch.
Also, I do want to throw this out there, right? When Hyder says that she has 1/5 the mana he does, she's like fully suppressing it pretty much. So we really see the difference between, Hyder, while a formidable mage or priest or whatever class he is, because we never actually really see him do anything. Frieren is like truly that much more powerful than Hyder, and probably everyone in their party.
We then see Aura cast her spell, and we see both of their souls leave their bodies. As both souls rest on the scales, Aura is confident that she has won this battle. In the last 80 years, Friren's power has not changed at all. But then, the scales begin to tip in Friren's favor. Frieren tells Aura that she has been suppressing her mana this whole time. Aura says there's no way that she can lose. She has survived for over 500 years. Frieren tells Aura that she has lived for over 1,000 and reveals her true power. Friren's aura encompasses the entire battlefield. The visuals for this scene are incredible.
I was gonna say, I love the visuals. Watching their souls leave their bodies as they like head towards the scale was so cool. And then like watching the scales like tip, like, okay, Ara's stronger, and like slowly it starts working its way to Frieren. And then when we see Frieren's full mana, it's like, oh, just kidding. Scale just shoots to the one side for Frieren to win. And then it was so cool to hear like Aura's inner monologue. She's like, I got this in the bag. This isn't even a contest.
Yeah, I can't say enough nice things about the visuals. Seriously, it's this is one of the better animated series of 2023 for sure.
Like Mike said, we see the scales drop on Frieren's side, and Aura falls completely under Frieren's control. Frieren turns away and starts walking and just says, Aura, kill yourself. Holy fucking shit, dude.
This was an insane ending. Like we see Aura like trying to fight her sword. Like, no, this isn't how it's gonna end. And like we see her hair slowly getting chopped off, and like we see the blood slowly trickling on her neck, and then we just see from Aura's point of view her head drop to the floor.
It's a little graphic.
Yeah, her head dropped to the floor. My jaw dropped to the floor. I couldn't believe it. I was like, they actually did that. I just, this show often makes you feel a little comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, oh, show's like not that crazy, fun fantasy adventure. And they do crap like this, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. They can bring like the edge. You know what I mean? Like that edginess. So if people, they have something for everyone here. You know what I mean? If you want a nice emotional story, and you're like, I would love to see character growth in a very nice fleshed out setting. They have that for you. If you like fantasy violence, they also have that for you. If you like your things lighter, they have that, but they also bring the darkness. And really, this show just has it all.
So, with that said, what did you guys think about these 2 episodes?
I loved them. Like this whole 4-episode arc was fantastic. I was not expecting the quote unquote fight scene between Aura and Frieren to play out like it did. It's like, okay, like they're both very powerful mages, like maybe they'll fight a little bit before Aura busts out the scales to figure out who wins. And it's like, okay, killed a couple of your headless guards. Flashback, Aura, you're dead. But like these 2 episodes were just so visually stunning that it's easy to just like, yeah, it's easy to forgive that. And that like the fight scene between Fern and Lugner with like the quote unquote fireworks going off was awesome. Just these 2 episodes and this overarching 4-episode arc was fantastic.
Yeah, I would agree. I was getting kind of worried in this episode that the Ara Frieren fight was going to be absolutely dragged out. And we'd kind of just have like a lot of needless action. Listen, maybe it's my age. Maybe it's because of the amount of anime I've consumed. But like watching episodes of anime where fights last for like 3 or 4 episodes just like doesn't do it for me anymore. And I get they do the old trope of like, oh, in the middle of our fight, we're gonna do flashbacks and tell the story of the villain's life story, or an important moment in in the main character's learning. And they did do that, which is fine. But like, it was one episode, it was one fight, and we got a lot of valuable backstory about Frieren. And I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with them like cutting out action. I don't need to see her like knocking more headless guards over, but I do need to see how she, grew her power and learn how to hide her mana. So every moment that they spent in this episode, while the whole episode was only one fight, they used their time wisely, and it helped grow the magic lore, to help grow Frieren and Flama's characters. And like everything was just beautifully executed in the end in one heck of a climax that makes you wanting more. And it was it was very hard not to watch the next episodes. But as soon as we're done recording, I may watch the next 2 episodes.
I will say I'm a little worried that we might get like a letdown episode after this. And not that they're going to be bad, but these 4 episodes were just so good that it's hard to keep that quality running for multiple. Like, I feel like we're going to have some sort of come down. Like, we just had 4 very story driven episodes.
Crap! Next episode's gonna be the cooking episode, isn't it?
It's going to be
No.
it's going to be the Anne episode.
Oh
Oh
no,
no, not the Vinland Saga.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but I've not seen an Anne episode. So you can take that one off the table.
What about the hot springs? The next episode, hot springs.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, the right way to do the wind down would probably be the hot springs episode. I'm just saying.
I love how that's a trope, and like I didn't even think about it until you brought it up last time around.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to the demon world. There's probably volcanoes and stuff, right? Like, they're going up into the demon territory. Guaranteed volcanoes, which means guaranteed hot springs. So, I don't know. I'm just saying that that's probably where we're going to end up at some point. Because I don't think the beach is coming up. I would say maybe the beach episode. I don't know. I love my tropes.
I really like these 2 episodes. I mean, like Mike said, I mean this is really the biggest like story arc that we've had thus far, because typically like each half of an episode is sort of like it feels like a manga chapter. You know, it's its own little self-contained thing, and then we move on to another half episode self-contained thing, and then they've kept doing that for a while here, and this was like 3.5 episodes of the same characters and the same plot points. So this is the longest kind of arc that we've had, but I really think this is a great part of the series. The animation again is just top tier. The visuals are gorgeous. Everything is just going right for this show. So I'm always excited to keep watching. And now it is time for the waifu of the week. All right, Mike, I think I'm going to start with you this week. Who is your waifu of the week?
I found it hard to pick one because these episodes were so like segmented. Like episode 1 was mainly focused on Stark and Fern. Episode 2 was focused on Flamma and Frieren. So I found it very hard to pick one waifu. Part of me just wants to say the party themselves, because they all had their great moments. Like Stark and Fern defeated demons, and Frieren, we learned more about her. Honestly, like Frieren is probably my weakest choice of the 3. So I'm gonna go with a co-waifu of Stark and Fern for how they handled the business against Lugner and Line, where they like it was the first time that we've seen them take care of the business on their own. Like Stark fought the dragon when we first met Stark, but like this was a blown out fight. This was him like, oh crap, like I'm scared, but like they worked together, they made a plan for these fights. Like they knew what they had to do, they handled the business. Fern realized that the ambush was coming. Stark relied on his old master's teachings to defeat Line, and Fern just freaking rocked Lugner without a doubt.
Sean, who is your waifu of the week?
It was really tough for me. For the same reasons that Mike said. There were like a lot of people who shined in these episodes, and I'm going to go with Flamma, because without Flamma, Frieren is an orphan in a village, in the ruins of a village. She teaches Frieren all her magic, and she teaches her most importantly in this episode, how to hide her mana. Also, I love the flashback part where like these, the demon mages jump them pretty much, and she just like blows them away. And that was before they have that current magic, the demon killing magic. Well, Flamma didn't have that magic, so she just freaking exploded everything, I guess. I don't know, but the point is, she is broken powerful, and it's a shame she herself was not an elf, because she would have been even more powerful than Frieren. So I'm gonna go with the Flamma.
Excellent choices. My waifu of the week, I just sort of changed on the fly a little bit. I was kind of torn, but as we talked about these 2 episodes, I think I'm gonna tweak my answer. I'm gonna give it to what I'm calling the 3 Fs: Flamma, Frieren, and Fern. I think all three of them in these 2 episodes are absolutely incredible, and it's a master-student relationship. You know, Flama teaches Frieren, and Frieren teaches Fern. So to see like the lineage of magic between these 3 characters being passed down, and what they're doing with it, and how they're able to, to fight and carry on the legacy of their magic, I just thought that was really cool. So I'm giving it to the 3 Fs. Thank you all for joining us this week as we watched Frieren Beyond Journey's End. We hope you join us next week for episode 45 of the Anime Banter podcast, where we will watch episodes 11 and 12 of Frieren. Please give us a 5-star review on all platforms that allow reviews. If you are listening on YouTube, please like the video, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Sean, do you have anything you would like to plug?
Yeah, as always, give the Demon Files podcast a listen, please.
You definitely should. It's very good. Mike, do you have anything you would like to plug?
Yeah, it's this show you are listening to right now. It's the Anime Banter podcast. You should totally tell your friends about it. And share all of our posts that we make on Facebook. And retweet all of our tweets on X. And share our posts that we make on Instagram to your stories. And on YouTube, you should like, comment, subscribe so we can beat the algorithms. That's right, the Anime Banter podcast can be found on Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube.
You should listen. It's really good. Thank you all for joining, and we will talk to you next week.